Hi and welcome to this new tutorial. It's been a little while. I was really busy with my preparation for the Greek Fear in Athens back at the beginning of May and for my play set. And for a remix, which I'm working on with a Greek artist, which responds to the name of Irene Ketikidi, which is a great guitar player. And the remix is now done. We are working on the package. You will find the remix on my Gumroad soon, and it will include also a sample pack. By the way, today I want to talk about on how you can overcome the limits of having 3 LFO per track. 3 LFO are good, but sometimes you want to modulate more, and we can't use, for instance, an LFO on track 2 to modulate a parameter on track 1. The technique we are using today is called MIDI loopback, and it's a pretty common technique on the Octatrack, and you can use that also on your Digitakt, I think also on the Digiton. And basically consists on use the MIDI LFO to modulate an audio track, a parameter of audio track, of course. Now, the basic setup on the MIDI sync is on the MIDI settings, is to activate the program change, send and receive. You don't need the transporter and to send the clock, so you can leave deactivated. And you can also give it a view on the MIDI channel settings, because by default the track 1 to 8 are connected to the MIDI channels 1 to 8. This will be useful later. Now I have here a simple loop. So nothing special. Today we are not focusing on the music itself, but on the technique. So don't mind this basic loop. It's really a random loop. As we know, we can modulate pretty much every parameters with the LFO. So let's start to connect. I have here my 2 effects, and let's start to use in a normal way this LFO, maybe to modulate some parameters on the effects page. The distortion of the lo-fi. Let's use the second LFO to modulate and third one Right, we have used now all the 3 LFO. Now, let's say we want to modulate also other parameters into the track 1. We can do that directly because we have runs out of the LFO numbers. So, if we want to make this, we have to write a trigger string on the sequencer, or record the automation, or resampling and then start again. But let's say I wanna do all that modulation without resampling, without writing anything on the sequencer, and so on. We can use the MIDI LFO, just because we have the ability to send out the MIDI CC and receive back the MIDI CC. We are creating a loop. Now I'm using my MIDI hub, which is here, which is a MIDI processor, but you can use a single MIDI cable from the MIDI out to the MIDI in of the Octatrack or of the Digitakt. Doesn't matter. The process is the same. Now pay attention to one thing. Track 1 is connected to the MIDI track 1 to the MIDI track 2 and so on. So we have first of all to select the channel. We are on MIDI track 1 and we are sending out information on the MIDI channel 1. And now we have here our MIDI CCs. So the page FX1 and FX2 into the Octatrack responds to the MIDI CC 34 to 39 and on page 2 to 40 to 45. So in this case the distortion will be the MIDI CC 34. Here we have nothing, so we skip the MIDI CC, and 36, 7, 8 and 9. And here 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 45. This means that if we activate the MIDI CC, we have to set. Now we want to modulate, I don't know, let's modulate something into the effects page 2, maybe the mix parameter. Yeah, which responds to the MIDI CC 45. So all we want to do is to select the MIDI CC 45 here on the CC selection. We have to activate the control by hitting function and push the encoder. And now we can control in this case the mix parameter of the comp filter on track 1. You see? Nice. We can of course modulate this parameter with an LFO, and this is the key concept of this tutorial. Let's select the CC1 and let's now we can continue by maybe modulate some other parameter. Maybe the feedback, which respond to the MIDI CC 1, 2, 3, 43. So let's connect the CC2 and let's activate 43. Nice. Yeah. So let's use can also use a trigless rig. And you can see that parameters are moving. We are actively modulating the parameter. Now we have also another LFO at our disposal, so maybe we can modulate the rate. The source page on the audio track responds to the MIDI CC 16 to 21. So if we want to modulate the rate, the correct MIDI CC will be the 19. So let's again activate another CC on 19. That's it. And then CC3. Of course, now it's on the rate parameter, so it gives you a little bit of a messy results. But we can modulate by using, I don't know, maybe by connecting this. This was connected because I rehearsed this tutorial right before recording. So we can maybe do a chance on that, and we have to set the first one to 0, so the rate control is always on the right spot. Now we have to simply try to find a good spot. Yeah, of course, we can continue to modulate parameters on the same track by using maybe another MIDI track, and we want to connect to the MIDI channel 1. So track 1 and track 2 on the MIDI side are pointing both on the same track, so on track 1, on the audio track 1. Sorry. And this way we can maybe modulate other parameters. I don't know, the pitch. The pitch responds to the MIDI CC 16. So let's connect another CC 16. We are on track 2 and we are modulating the parameter, the pitch parameter on the audio track 1. MIDI track 2, audio track 1, right? Okay. Now, let's connect to the MIDI CC 1. Right? We are modulating the pitch. Of course, now it doesn't have so much sense, but it's just to show you what you can do. Basically, now we are using 7 LFO on one single track, and we can continue. We can continue to modulate parameters, and if we are using all the track, we can modulate a lot of stuff. Of course, into the Octatrack, if you are modulating too much parameters at once, maybe sometimes it can get a little weird. Again, this is a really useful technique. Now we are modulating the pitch and stuff like that. Is not the most musical example, but it's just to show you how far you can go with this technique. We can really modulate everything. This is a great way to build loops, and it's fast because you only have to connect an LFO to a MIDI channel. So it's easy, fast, and is really an effective technique. This, as I said, is a technique that you can apply to the Octatrack, but also to the Digitakt. And of course, for the same technique, you can use the arpeggiator. So you can basically arpeggiate the samples that are contained into the audio track. This is it for this tutorial. This was a quick one because this is really a fast technique. If you need samples and instrument for your hardware, you can visit my Gumroad page. You can find also my services for mastering and mixing your track. So give it a go, and thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye!